Cam definitely held his ground when the incident happened between him and Suge. I guess showing his concern about why we use this sample.
Cam held his ground. So Suge Knight was really trying to press him about that.
Trying is the key word here.
I mean, if Daz gave Cam permission to use it, I don't see why Suge Knight was mad.
I don't even know the ins and outs of it at that point. We didn't really care about who made beats, nothing. We just was putting shit out. We didn't care about none of that. They try to take game off of certified gangsters. I told Dr. Dre some fly shit. Well, I told them to tell Dr. Dre some fly shit.
Suge Knight pressed the wrong one that night. Jim Jones just laid out the real story behind what really went down when Suge Knight tried to check Cameron. And let's just say Cam wasn't backing down from anybody. Now, this wasn't just some random Hollywood run-in. This was real tension coming from a beat, a Tupac sample to be exact, and that Cam used that on one of his records. Suge Knight didn't like that at all. He felt like Cam was disrespecting Pac's legacy. But according to Jim Jones, the moment Suge tried to press him, Cam held his ground like a Harlem general. Jim said it clear. Trying is the key word. Suge tried to press him, but Cam wasn't going at all. And that's when things got heated. It wasn't about money or fame. It was about respect, authenticity, and not letting anybody stop your bag. Jim Jones even said back then, he didn't care about who made what. They were just pulling music, hustling, and trying to feed the team. Now I'm about to play this clip for y'all, but before I do, I just need y'all to like, leave y'all thoughts down below in the comment section, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
But speaking of Pac, I heard that Suge Knight, he tried to press Cam over the Ambitions of a Rider beat.
Yes, I wasn't with Cam the night it happened, but Cam definitely held his ground when the incident happened between him and Suge. I guess showing his concern about why we use this sample.
Cam held his ground. So Suge Knight was really trying to press him about that.
Trying is the key word here.
I mean, if Daz gave Cam permission to use it, I don't see why Suge Knight was mad.
I don't even know the ins and outs of it at that point. We didn't really care about who made beats, nothing. We just was putting shit out. We didn't care about none of that. They try to take game off of certified gangsters. I told Dr. Dre some fly shit. Well, I told them to tell Dr. Dre some fly shit. You know what I mean? Very young in the game, but I got to meet Dr. Dre afterwards. I got to do a bunch of records with Dr. Dre actually, but when your back is against the wall and you're just coming in the game and you know this could change your life, and some of these people do things that you feel like they're trying to stop your bag or stop from changing your life, and you don't know the ins and outs of the game. Yeah, I was ready to do whatever it took. Nobody was taking nothing off my plate at that point in time. You heard? All I knew was, nah, I'm a cold taker. I ain't nobody taking nothing from me. So, you live and you learn.
That Certified Gangsta is the first time I heard about you too. So yeah, that's crazy. So Dre, he was trying to stop the game from being in the video.
They tried. Attempted. Ended up being one of the biggest looks of Game's life. That was before anybody knew who Game was. He's had a hell of a buzz on the West Coast. Did the deal with Dr. Dre and them, but didn't have no visibility at the time. So what we had did that with that Certified Gangster video and the connection we made gave him a hell of a jump start. You know what I mean? At the beginning of when he first signed his deal. So it worked in their favor. Well, that was the first look to the world before, like, he just signed to Interscope. They haven't even did a video, photo shoot or nothing. Nobody knew how Game looked, and the first look was on my record. So they was naturally trying to block that from happening. You know what I mean? All money in politics, you dig? But it ended up working in his favor. That was a great marketing tool for him to blast off. I thought he was Easy E's son when they first told us about him. They're looking on the internet, seeing him rap, and it was nice. And we got in touch with each other. Then I bring him out to New York, RP4 Bent. Yeah, I started the brotherhood with my brother. Shouts to Game.
You being the blood, did they accept you when you went to LA?
Well, back in that day, I was the only person who went to LA to build the bridge between LA and New York, whatever misconceptions they had about what a New York blood was, or we was imitating blood culture and things like that. And I was the person to go out there to kind of let them know that we as real as it get. But on the flip side of that, it's a very ignorant culture and things like that. And my mindset was so far gone back then, and think about it now, was like, what point was I proving with an ignorant mindset going out there? The bridge I was building wasn't for positivity back then. It was more on some gang culture and shit like that. But yeah, I was the person that put that whole thing together and shit like that, and built that camaraderie from East Coast to the West Coast. But yeah, shouts to LA, man. I have a beautiful time every time I go to LA. You heard? Shouts to my boy Wacko. What's up, blood?
The truth is, hip-hop's been dealing with a quiet extortion problem for decades. That whole check-in culture started as a safety measure but turned into a hustle for power. A lot of rappers got pressed, taxed, and straight up robbed in the name of respect. It's been a shadow rule in hip-hop. You come to a city, you pay your dues, or you risk getting touched. But the problem is, some of these so-called check-ins had nothing to do with safety at all. They were just money grabs disguised as protection. That's why what Cam'ron did in that moment still matters today. He wasn't being reckless at all. He was standing up against a system that's been bullying artists for years. Suge Knight built a lot of his empire on fear, and for a long time, nobody dared to challenge that at all. But Cam'ron and Jim Jones represented a new wave, artists who refused to fold, refused to pay to move, and refused to be bullied out of their paper. You gotta respect that, because when you think about the big picture, it's the same mentality that made people like Eminem and 50 Cent survive this industry as well. They didn't check in when they came out to LA either. They checked themselves. They built their own security, their own team, and their own power. They understood early on that if you let fear run your business, you'll never get to run your business. This game's always had street politics tied into it, from Death Row to G-Unit to Dipset. But the difference between being respected and being extorted comes down to how you carry yourself. Suge Knight was feared, but Cam'ron, 50 Cent, even Eminem, they were respected. There's a huge difference. Fear gets people to move around you. Respect keeps people standing beside you. And that's what I think this whole situation showed. Cam didn't disrespect Pac's legacy at all. He didn't cross a line. He just refused to let somebody from another coast control how Harlem moved. Now that's confidence and that's leadership. That's hip-hop in its rawest form. Standing your ground and staying true to your art form, no matter who's watching you. Because at the end of the day, every city has its own politics. But if you're real about your business and you treat people with respect, you shouldn't have to check in anywhere. The real ones check in with respect, not with fear. And the artists who understood that early on, guys like Cam'ron, Eminem, 50 Cent, they're the ones that are still around today. So let me ask y'all this. Do you think check-in culture helps protect artists or just keeps the cycle of fear alive? And who do you think handled those street politics the best? Dipset or G-Unit and Shady Aftermath? Let me know y'all thoughts down below in the comment section. And make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.